Hey there, it's Michelle, and wow, happy winter solstice. Happy shortest day of the year. Actually, solstice happened at 11:28. If you are watching me live, then this is in the afternoon, and so we are now starting to reverse the sun's southward descent to start making a slow track back up so that we can make that march towards spring. And so I thought it was, I needed to give a shout out to winter solstice, the longest night of the year or whatever. But anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. And today, I am going to be just giving you a little bit more of my trek towards getting prepared for this upcoming year 2018, and that is I want to talk about hey Brian, yes, we are marching towards the spring. As of 11:28 this morning, we started it, so that's awesome. And you may or may not know that I have been doing a daily update, accountability if you will, about my personal plan to become a leader of self, lead myself, and all of that. And today, with this being the 21st day of this project that I've been doing daily, every day, y'all, no days off, every day, I wanted to talk about something that's real for me. And I'm not trying to do anything subliminal, y'all. My eyebrow itches. I want to talk about something that I have heard from other people who are doing this along with me, as well as things that I have been experiencing, and that is hitting a wall, hitting your limit. What I mean by that is getting up every day and having a recipe for how you're going to attack your day, for having commitments, micro commitments that we do throughout the day, and being and doing them, but then guess what? Hitting a limit. Like, I can't go any further. If anything, I hit it and I bounce back, and so you feel like, or I feel like sometimes being in a rut. And so I wanted to attack that head on and just talk about it so that we can continue to move forward, and to let you know some of the things that I'm actually doing to help me when, I hit a rut, or when I am hitting that limit, and how to continue to push forward. Because the whole idea of the whole Leader of One project is to be able to self-manage, to be able to be more me in a greater sense. And so, wow. And you know what, Brian, that's why I'm doing this outwardly. I am letting people know this is not just like, oh, I'm going to be nice and just say things. No, I'm letting you guys know this is the real deal. It's not if you hit a wall. It's not if you hit your limit and then bounce back and then have to try to figure out how to keep going. It's when. So see, these are some of the things that I'm doing and have done to push past my limits, because we're working on being able to become better. The person who created where we are right now is not going to be the person that gets us to where we want to be next. And so if you're hitting a wall, bouncing back and never going forward, it's because it's me. I have not changed. And so here are some of the things that I wanted to put on your minds that I'm working with, and maybe you might be able to get a little wisdom out of this too. And that is, I am proposing, because I just want you to also know this is day 21. And so I'm getting ready to move into the 4th week of this project, where I am looking at completing the stuff that I've got going on. Yeah, we moved from simplifying it to learning how to be able to be committed to it. Then this week it's been all about learning how to concentrate, and now we're moving into completing it. And to be able to complete something, you definitely cannot be the person you were on day 1, or it's not going to get done. If it was, then you wouldn't be, quote unquote, hitting a wall. You wouldn't be having the emotional struggles, the defeat of self-will, and all the things that we all go through. Okay, so with that being said, these are some of the things that I am doing to continue to hit forward. And so, oh, great. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate you, coming and sharing with me. It's always appreciated when someone is with me live and stuff. And I do this stuff a lot of times by faith, because my word is my bond. I said I would do it, so that's what I'm doing. But thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate your work and everything you do as well. So one of the things that I'm doing is, like I said yesterday, I'm not taking myself so seriously. I am failing spectacularly. And when I say failing spectacularly, what I want you and me to realize is that in life, no one is going to give you permission to do what you really want to do. So you got to go do it. And because you got to make that way, you have to make your lane, you have to make your path, you have to go and be willing to fail spectacularly. And I'm going to almost say, expect it a little bit, but expect it to be temporary. And so I'm going to tell you, it is something very freeing about knowing that there is a high probability that I'll fail. And the secret to that is that subconsciously, if I'm prepared for winning or losing, I'm willing to go all out because I'm making peace with the fact that this might not work, but I won't know unless I do it. Thus, say, I'm going to do this every day. I have had issues with my sinuses. I mean, like getting online and praying that I don't have a sinus attack, nosebleed, or whatever it is. Just different little things. Knowing that I don't comb my hair a lot. Knowing that because I said I was going to do it, whether I feel good or feel like it, I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be here. Those were some of the things that I was like, you know what? And if I fail, it's okay. If I fail, it's okay. And it's very freeing. And what I found is when I have the approach that I'm going to give it everything I've got, and if I fail, I'm going to do it spectacularly. Baby, I'm going to do it till I can't do it no more. It helps me get through breakthroughs, get through limits. Because limits a lot of times have to do with the need for perfection, the need to win, the need to succeed. And the more I do this, the more I'm finding out that success is usually encapsulated by a whole bunch of failure. And that if I never want to fail, I never get to the good center. I never get to the success. I never get there. So failing spectacularly and even almost expecting it is one of the things that I do and am doing, because I have to be a different person to complete what I'm trying to complete. To do what you've never done, you have to become who you've never been. And so that's one of the things. The next thing is I search for, hunt for, treat it like a treasure, and I look for incremental growth. Now, it could be each day, each moment, each week. Am I different, even in the smallest slight, than I was yesterday? Am I doing better today? And I'm going to tell you, if you can say yes every day, it's something wrong with you. And the reason why it's something wrong with you is because the natural ebb and flow. The ebb and flow is you make strides, then either you hit a wall, you plateau, or you fall back a little bit. But then you make a bigger stride. And so it looks like a dance. And looking for my incremental growth is not necessarily always progressing. But over time, it is a tendency that week over week, I'm doing better. I did this when I was working on health. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I continue to work on my health every day. That's why I was talking about having good gut health to help me concentrate, and how I implore you to look at that, and what you put in your mouth with the sugars, and how sugars will affect mood and your ability to complete things or go on cravings and hedonistic desires. So I definitely do that. But what I was saying is when I was looking at that week over week, charting my success or failure, I didn't let the failures get me down. They just gave me more insight for what I needed to learn from to be able to secure more success. And so doing the same thing with becoming a leader of myself is really important. So I look for the incremental growth. And that helps me because it gives me enough leeway to make mistakes, to fall off the wagon, to get back up, dust myself off. But it also doesn't let me off the hook that I should be growing, that something should be happening if I'm going to get what I want. And so that's another thing about this whole thing of leadership. With leadership, we accept all responsibility. We don't make excuse for what external things happen to cause us from not getting what we wanted. We adjust and we adapt. And so when you hit that wall, when you get stagnation, when resistance comes, guess what? I nod. I'm like, thank you, resistance, for showing up. You just gave me more insight that I'm on the right track. Thank you. Thank you for the wisdom. And then I change my perspective. Don't take myself too seriously. I talked about this, I think, on day 19 or something. And I find another way to get it done. I am always learning to adapt, evolve, change, upgrade. I sometimes even look at it as this is kind of like getting an update to my software, because every little bit of experience I go through is helping me to gather more data, to become more refined, to sharpen my vision, to become what I want. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again, nobody's going to ever give you permission or even flat out give you what you want. You have to make your way, make your plan, make your path, especially in today's society. If you want to be, I'll say it, if you want to be the greatest business owner, nobody's going to give you that. You have to find a way to get it yourself. And when I say get it yourself, I'm not talking about by hook or crook, mean or criminal or destroying anybody else. I'm talking about you have got to be the leader of yourself to get it. It amazes me. In some of the stuff that I'm doing as part of this project, I'm writing a few books, I'm doing this daily, I'm working on my projects going into the new year, and I notice where the attention flows and goes, and it tends to flow and go to entertainment, gossip, rumor, athletics, and those types of things. And one of the things that my main takeaways from looking at that is that distraction is a big, it moves around like one of the biggest invisible enemies that you'll ever have. I heard this great saying that says, while you're being distracted by the imps, I'm the devil slipping through. And for me, chatter, scatterbrainedness, and all of that is simply because I am not staying focused enough to pay attention to what I'm doing as my own leader. It's amazing how much time we can spend, even if we just get up in the mornings and find ourselves watching a morning news show. We expect our entertainment. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that for where we are and being able to bring this home and going into the final week of this part of what we're doing, when you're hitting a wall, when you're finding stagnation, when you're hitting a plateau, that's an indicator that you've gone as far as you can go. And so because of that, we want to look for every opportunity that we can choose to be different. What does that look like? Well, at first, I did talk about failing spectacularly, not taking yourself too seriously, having a little bit of expectation for it to free yourself. Then I talked about looking at incremental change and looking at the tendency. Am I tending to change, to do better, produce more, be better, have more, all of those things. And now looking at all of that, even looking at other opportunities where the little imps come in, the distractions, being so, easily strayed off of the determination. And I'm not saying it's because of the season we're in or any of that kind of stuff, but think about how easy it is to get distracted and use hours and hours, whether it's watching TV, YouTube videos, social media, getting enthralled in being a spectator. They have these little things like, well, I'm just popcorn, on the sidelines watching other people get into it or whatever. It's amazing at how many times we say we're going to do something, we hit a wall, and then little imps come in to steal the progress and the momentum. Because we're still talking about keeping momentum, struggling against the default of stagnation, struggling against the ever-present possibility of entropy, of ceasing and disintegrating from what we wanted. And so we have to be diligent. We have to understand that all of this stuff is in play. And I'm telling you, when you say that you're going to be a leader of yourself, of your mind, body, soul, spirit, soul, whatever it is, if you're going to be a leader of getting the destiny that you want, if you're going to be a leader of self-management, peak performance, or whatever it is, you got to look for those little foxes and those little things that would totally bring down and topple the tower of greatness that you're trying to build within yourself. So I'm going to be recapping these main 3 areas. I was going to talk a little bit more about, some more clarity stuff, but I'll talk about that later, because I really feel like this is where I need to be talking right now with regards to stagnation, hitting your wall, only being able to fire at this level when you have hopes of being at this level. And so that is, don't take yourself so seriously. And I'm not saying pull up and do nothing. What I'm saying is give yourself the freedom to fail. Give yourself permission to be human, to know that you're going to miss the mark. But your tendency should be to keep moving forward, which leads me into the second part, and that is to search out and look for your incremental change. Look for it. When I opened this up, I talked about winter solstice and how each day the sun never takes a break. It just ticks down southward to where we move into winter. And then it pauses. That's what the solstice means. It means to stir, means to the sun standing still. And that happened today at 11:28 a.m. Sun standing still. And then it starts its descent back up. And so increment by increment, the sun does what it's supposed to. It doesn't take a day off. If it did, we would get really mad when certain seasons didn't show up when they're supposed to. Now, I know for some people that still doesn't happen, but, hey, it is what it is. And I don't want to get off track here. But I also want you to know that if you're going to bust through, push through your limits, you got to be aware of the little imps that try to keep you distracted so that the big devil of defeat, distraction, can come in. And it comes in by the titillating, the little things, like you find yourself spending more time talking to self, watching just one more news update, just read this one more article, just do this. And then you look by and a couple hours are gone, and I'm scrambling to get back on schedule to finish up what I said I was going to do in that day. And I find that I'm not advancing. I'm not getting what I know I can do done. And so I have to be aware. You need to be aware. We all need to be aware of the little distractions, of the little things that will come, the little thieves that come to keep us unawares of the big stuff that's happening. So with this being day 21, finishing up our 3rd week of doing this preparatory stage of getting ourselves ready to really be leaders of ourselves, I want to encourage you that when you hit that wall, when you find yourself in a stagnation, in a rut, whether it be an accomplishment, emotional growth, stagnation, despair, whatever it is, remember, do something where there's kind of a built-in expectation that you'll fail. I have a book recommendation, and I'll try to remember to put it in the notes, and that is Rejection Proof, a year of rejection living. And I forget his name, but I've mentioned it before, but I love that book. This guy decided that he was going to go out and he was going to purposefully look for rejection so that he could grow past who he had become. He had become a person who had succeeded a lot, and when he started getting failures, he couldn't deal with them. And so he purposefully put himself in positions where he would fail spectacularly. And guess what? He did in some, but a lot of times he didn't fail. And so those are some of the things that we do to push forward. Expect that there will be some failure, but that is not the sentence. That is just the delivery method for the success if we keep going. Search for, root out, expect incremental, the little small changes, and that they should be going in the direction that you want. Look for them, expect them, and if you don't see them, change up to start getting them. And then the next thing is to be aware of distractions that would try to let the devil of defeat come in and totally get you off course. It's nothing sadder than to say, I'm going to do something, only to have given up when you didn't know you were giving up. So that's another like peekaboo moment I want you to have. Start looking at the areas that would cause you to get off course, that would cause you to soften your diligence and your consistency in doing what you said you were going to do. Because if you're doing this, nobody is making you do that. And remember that if you're going to have this, nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to grant you permission and wave a magic wand on your head and bequeath unto you all the things that you said you wanted to have as a byproduct from doing this. You got to make your way. You got to make it. And in today's society, there are so many opportunities for us to be able to do that. So I want you to have a happy rest of your winter solstice. I want you to seize the day. And I want you to know that you can and are different than yesterday, different from the day before. Sure enough, different from 21 days ago. Move forward. Expect that you will move forward, even when we have the little failures, the little setbacks. And let's be able to finish this up strong. Tomorrow starts when we're starting to look at completing, not this project per se, but this portion of it where we are developing new habits and new tools to take with us to be able to have a great, successful year like never before, because we are forging a new being by leading ourselves into new territory. So this has been Michelle Spiva, and guess what? I'm going to see you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.